It's Jan 6, 2026. The geopolitical map didn't just shift over the weekend, it was rewritten. The capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by US forces is a black swan event. If you are a mid-level professional watching the markets today, your first instinct might be to see the crude oil tickers jump from $60 and think this is it. Conflict means supply shocks, time to load up on energy stocks. But if you've been following this series, you know that sentiment is a loud room, but fundamentals are a quiet ledger. So today, in the finale of our Trim the Fat series, I'm going to show you why this Caracas raid is actually the final nail in the coffin for an oil and gas rally in 2026. If you're buying the war premium today, you aren't investing. You're gambling against a tidal wave of supply. So let's address the elephant in the room. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves on the planet, 303 billion barrels. For years, that oil was dead because of sanctions and decay. But as the US muscle flexes to take control, they aren't doing it to drive prices up. They are doing it to bring prices down. So yes, there is short-term anxiety. But long-term, US capital and technology are already preparing to restart the Venezuelan engine. We are looking at an additional 1 to 2 million barrels a day, hitting an already saturated market within 18 months. Even without Venezuela, global projections show a massive surplus of nearly 4 million barrels a day this year. The world is literally drowning in oil. A weekend raid in Caracas doesn't fix a structural oversupply. It eventually accelerates it. Now, let's talk about our own backyard and how this impacts the disciplined investor. Reliance Industries. The stock hit a record high. Why? Because they are the world's most sophisticated refiners of heavy crude, exactly what Venezuela produces. But there is a trap. While they might get cheaper crude, the global profit margins are shrinking as global demand cools. The market is pricing in a win that the macro data says is a wash. And now let's talk about ONGC. There is a $500 million in dividends stuck in Venezuela. A US takeover might help recover that cash eventually. But for 2026, you are looking at a year of operational chaos and legal battles over ownership. Fundamental analysis shows a sector where the conflict bounce is a gift for sellers. Sentiment tells you to chase the green candles. We choose to protect your capital. So how do we protect your portfolio? We use the conflict bounce. History shows that raid-driven price spikes are almost always short-lived, sometimes lasting only 10 to 14 days. So between now and mid-January, use this artificial strength to exit 60% or equivalent of your oil and gas holdings. And always remember the golden rule. Keep your 5% trailing stop loss extremely tight. If the news gets crazier and oil stays above 60, you hold. But the moment that the momentum stalls, you take your profits and walk away. We do not hold through a long-term occupation phase where prices will inevitably slide. We have spent the last 3 days identifying the deadwood in your portfolio. We discussed about AI cannibalization in IT last week. We identified the tariff cage in textiles yesterday. And today, we saw through the geopolitical smoke in oil and gas. But the plan is just on piece of paper until you hit sell. So tomorrow we execute. I'm going to show you exactly how you rebalance your capital out of these value traps without getting stung by taxes or bad timing. We are going to clean this slate together. Because once that deadwood is cleared, the growth phase will begin. Tomorrow, I will also reveal the first of 3 sectors that are hitting a perfect fundamental pivot for 2026. We aren't just following the government's 11.1 lakh crore capex plan. We are following the companies where the cash meets debt-free balance sheets, surging capacity utilization, and massive margin expansion. We are moving from the safety of preservation to the power of the offensive. So subscribe now so you're ready when the markets open tomorrow. Don't just watch the news. Learn how to move ahead with it. And I'll see you tomorrow for the execution. So thank you for your time and your patience during this talk.